Craig, a trip to York on Sunday afternoon. How are you feeling ahead of the trip up north?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, isn't it? The number of games that I've watched at York this year, I think since the start of the season when they lost the first three games, and had quite a few people out in the first few games. They've got the players back now. They've recruited well and strengthened. I think looking at how they play consistently well, I think the potential one of the best teams in the championship. They beat Bradford last week, the week before last in the 1895 Cup semi-final. I thought they were outstanding in that game, and they're just a team that don't go away. They know what they do. They do it really, really well. They're looking really physically fit and strong, and it's going to be a massive challenge for us.
It's a few days on now since that defeat at home against Hunslet. You'll obviously have had more time to reflect on that defeat. Kind of just give us a bit more insight about how you thought the lads fared.
Yeah, I thought we were flat. I thought we started the game really, really slow. It was 10 minutes into the game until we got to play the ball in Hunslet's half. So they dominated field position and possession, and exactly the same in the second half. It was 12 minutes into the second half until we got to play the ball in their half again. So when you start a game like that and you start a second half like that, you're always fighting a bit of an uphill battle. I still think that we potentially could have won that game. We got on the front foot midway through that second half and started being a bit more direct and generating some quick play of the balls, which is what we aimed to do from the start of the game, which we didn't do at the start of the game, but I thought we did that in the start of the second half. But still miles off where we need to be. I know we had a lot of disruption. We lost all the bench in that second half, and obviously Corey Johnson pulling out in the warm up as well. So a little bit of disruption there, but we still need to be a lot better than what we were.
Just how much that disruption there, obviously, do you feel played a part? And as I say, we've got a tough couple of games now away on the road. Obviously York, we've got Barrow in a few weeks' time. Just kind of like how is the situation having a bit of an impact on everyone?
Yeah, it's a massive impact. We trained with 12 people yesterday on the field. So we're trying to patch bodies up. We're trying to get people in just to get numbers out there on a game. But that's part and parcel of the rugby league. It's a contact sport, and sometimes you have it worse than others. Sometimes you have a squad of 24, 25 where everybody's battling for a shirt, and sometimes you're patching bodies up to try and get 17 out there, and we're just in that position at the minute. It's not going to change if we moan and cry about it. We've got to crack on and roll sleeves up and deal with what would help.
As you say there about the situation that we find ourselves in, how would you kind of pick the players up? Obviously, I think we said the other night, the confidence must have been low. So how do you try and pick up the players and motivate them for a tough trip this weekend?
You just try and build a little bit of momentum if you can, a little bit of an atmosphere in training, and just try and do little things every now and again. Obviously, with 12 people on the field, there's not a great deal you can do in terms of your shape or in terms of your defensive cohesion. You can't even really do a left versus right. So it's working on the core skills, bringing in some small-sided gauge just to try and generate a little bit of tempo into training, a little bit of enthusiasm, and just giving the players the information that they need. We did a review on Tuesday regarding the game. We'll do a little bit more of a review tonight, and hopefully get a few numbers in for before the deadline tomorrow to bulk that squad out a little bit and get a stronger 17 out there on the game on Sunday. We'll preview that on Friday, and we'll prep that as much as we can on Friday. It's a disrupted week because of the numbers that we've got or the numbers that we've not got. But like I said, we've got what we've got, and we'll work to the best of our ability with what we've got.
As you say, obviously with York's start to the season, they had a few defeats and found themselves in a similar situation. Do you think it's maybe something that we can try and strive to replicate once obviously we get a few players back and then try and push towards the playoffs?
Yeah, 100%. I think what we've got to do now, we've got to. I think after the York game with the Challenge Cup final a week after, that's pretty much round about the halfway point of the season. So, we're opening that period of time, that 2 weeks between games, between pre-cup final and post-cup final. We can get a few bodies back and maybe a few bodies in if we can. And then we've got to start that as a new season. The competition is that close, it's that tight that if you win 2 or 3 games on the bounce and you project yourself further up the table, and that's ultimately what we've got to strive to do. We've got to try and have a little bit of a reset halfway through the season, and try and win as many games as we can in that second half of the season, and have a tilt to get ourselves away from the bottom 4, get into that safety position, and even try and maybe nick the 6th or 5th in that table. But it's not going to come just because we want that. We've got to make sure that we're working hard, preparing well, and looking after ourselves, and doing everything that we can possibly to project us well at that table.